The most reluctant observer will see something and go, that's just too cool, you know? So, this is a brain tanned deer skin. This is the neck. This is the neck. And this would be the tail down here. The deer's tail would be down here. And if you look, and this is the fur side, and this is the organ side, the inside or the flesh side. And this has been soaked and scraped, all the hair and membrane and flesh and everything is removed from it. And then it's soaked in the animal's brain. Have you ever heard of brain tanned leather? Brain tanned? Brain tan is the way our ancestors, I would say predominantly softened leather, but there's other ways. Fats and leaving the fat in the hide and letting the sun liquor it or soften the dermis layer right in the skin. So this is soaked in the brain solution, taken out and stretched and staked and broken and stretched. And when you think you're done stretching it, you've only started stretching it, and it has to be stretched until it's completely dry. And then you end up with this beautiful, soft, luscious, delicious material. I would say deer leather, silk, and fur are probably the most beautiful natural fibers on earth. Goose down, I think, is pretty awesome too. But boy, this leather is just amazing. And this is from a roadkill fawn. And this is like some rust from a, I don't know, an old knife or something that was in my pack. So there's nothing, you know, dirty or stainable or anything like that on it. But just feel the difference between the adult and the baby. All right, you ready? You ready?
He doesn't have a hand.
Next to you here. Okay, I was just gonna toss it to you. Okay. And then feel how soft and thin that is compared to the adult. Isn't that cool? I love this. This is getting trashed in my pack, but that's where leather comes from. Thank you. So that's all done chemically now, right, kids? It's all done with chemicals instead of natural materials. So this is an arrow, and the shaft is white cedar, and the point is deer bone, and it's wrapped with sinew and hide, lashed on and adhered with hide glue, and fletched with turkey feathers. Now this is something that could have been made 50,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, but of course it would never endure because it's made from biodegradable material. The only thing that would endure would be the stone point if it had a stone point. Wow. That's why when we find arrowheads in digs, it's probably a bunch of arrows, maybe a quiver, you know, a hunter was buried with their quiver or something, and everything else is gone, but what's remaining is the stone points. That's the only remnants. So I had a guest who said, I don't know, bud, it feels like plastic. It's like, okay, I respect I respect your perception, but it's deer bone. He goes, and he went over to his friends and he's like, what do you think? Like, yep, we think it's plastic. I said, it's deer bone, it's from the right femur, and she's in my freezer. There you go. Arrow for you. Arrow for you to pass around. Well, yeah. How about necessity of food? Right? Hunger is a great motivator and inspiration. The Kalahari trackers, the great tracking societies left on the earth.
Where are they from?
They're in South Africa, in the Kalahari. They were asked, how in the heck can you track Urdu or springbok or eland over solid rock? How do you do that? They said, we're hungry.
Yeah, their tracking skills are amazing.
We're hungry, right? So, you know, if you're doing it for a weekend outing or because you want to do something that's cool, that's not enough motivation. Hungry mouths to feed is a powerful motivation to learn and to master, not only learn these skills, but to master them. So enough of that. I could go on and on. This is just something a little more modern technology. I had this custom knife that I lost. It was made by a guy in Pennsylvania named Dave Beck. He went out of business, and I had this knife that he had made, and again I lost it, and I couldn't find another. I couldn't find another one. I looked all over. I asked around. I called. I emailed him. Called him. Couldn't find this knife anywhere. The only solution I had was to make it. So I had a friend of mine who lives nearby, is a master craftsman, both he and his wife and his son, and I asked him to teach me about metallurgy, how to heat treat metal and how to remove the heat treatment so that it can be shaped into what I needed. And this, to the best of my recollection, when I drew it out on paper, this was roughly the shape of the knife that I had lost. And when I first started practicing tracking and survival skills, my knife was this big, and as my skills got better and my experience got greater and greater, my knife got smaller and smaller too. This is like the one that works best for me. Right? So this is a lawnmower blade that was fashioned into my custom knife, and this wood is called Nio. It's from the Big Island of Hawaii. It's called Hawaiian false sandalwood. So I put a nice false sandalwood handle on there with Rolando's help, and hand made these rivets out of brass rings with steel rod, and everything's custom made, including the sheath is cow leather. So there's I got my custom knife back, but I had to make it myself. So now